be nice to hear the prof's take on what they
Yeah.
mean by greatest issue.
Some of these are a little vague.
Yeah, they are. Working with all learners, again, I think it would be designing assignments so that it challenges all learners
Hmm.
in various levels, right? So that your severely learning disabled student who's still in your class
Hmm.
can have learning and success, and your super smart
Hmm.
overachievers can also be challenged and have success
Right.
and learning, right?
Yeah.
That's hard to do.
Yeah.
That's probably the greatest challenge,
Hmm.
is to design assignments with that accomplishes that.
Right.
That's challenging.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's easy to design a test, but to design a test that is engaging and actually adds to learning,
Yeah.
that's also a challenge.
Hmm.
Right? Because I think final exams or exams are important because they can be an important part of your learning. They can help you like solidify your learning in your head as you're doing the test.
Mm-hmm.
So that's, to design a test like that is challenging too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I can see how it would be tough to,
Yeah.
I guess, accommodate such a spectrum of, I guess, intelligences.
Yep. Yeah. There's different intelligences out there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the classroom lends itself to certain intelligences really well.
Yeah.
And we all know those kids.
Yeah. Yeah.
It doesn't lend itself to other intelligences. It's just hard to do that.
Yeah.
Right? And so those kids often don't feel really connected to school.
Hmm.
Right? Like I recognize there's a bunch of you in this room who would be doing much better and enjoying life and learning better in a completely different environment.
Yeah.
And no, it would not revolve around history.
Right.
It would be something else, right? And whether it's something practical or like a job that requires teamwork, you might thrive in that environment.
Mm-hmm.
You're not thriving here. You're sitting in a porcelain seat for 75 minutes.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, how do you do that?
Yeah.
Like, honestly, I'm up at the front, active, moving around, talking to people. Some of you are not.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? You're doing these assignments, but in general, you're sitting there.
Yeah.
So some guys, like, it doesn't, and girls, like, there are some girls who are like, get me out of here. I want to go do something.
Yeah.
So to create an environment and assignments and all that even those people can tap into.
Right.
Wow, that's hard.
Yeah. I guess to make it engaging to those types.
And I just recognize that that there'll be some of those students who will be like, oh, I'll find this course passable, right? Like, as in like, okay, I don't hate this course, but I'd much rather be doing this.
Right.
And I recognize that.
Yeah.
This is not going to fit everybody well.
Right. It's not going to be everybody's highlight.
No.
Yeah.
No. Was it your highlight, or was it as a teacher? Like maybe it was. Maybe you're one of those people, but it wasn't for me.
Yeah.
Unless it was engaging and the teacher was engaging.
Yeah.
I was out of there, like, mentally.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I recognize that there's going to be students who don't do well academically, who thrive in another environment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's tough.
Yeah. One of the other issues that will be challenging, or what was the original question?
What's the greatest issue that teacher may face in the class?
Okay, there might actually be other issues besides learning. Because we're people, and because life is still happening around us as we teach, sometimes there might be issues that come up of like a moral nature, like, or ethical, or like.
Wait, what do you mean?
Like, important issue. Well, I'll give you an example from sort of today. We were looking at World War II, the evacuation of Dunkirk, Churchill's speeches. We were looking also at, in a different class, Holocaust, some of the consequences of the Holocaust, the issues that come up in the Holocaust, right? And so you might come across a situation in your classroom where those things are no longer academic; they're practical. Where we might be looking at society and talking about our future as a society, the leadership or people taking risks because it's the right thing to do and it might cost them everything. Right? Every now and then you might have situations where that lines up in your classroom.
Like real world events.
Like real world events, or my father or grandfather or grandmother.
Right.
You know, all of a sudden there was this alignment, right? And then you realize, oh, I'm not talking academically anymore. I'm talking practically. And what are we going to be, a fearful society or a brave society? Are we going to bend the knee and give up, or are we going to keep pushing on and never surrender kind of idea? And how important are those things, right? Today, look at this situation here. How are we viewing this as society? And all of a sudden you're like, I'm talking to you, the future, me, we're all in this together.
Yeah.
Like, this is no longer academic, this is practical. Are we going to live in fear, or are we going to accept challenges and move forward?
Yeah.
Right? And then those are important issues, because then sometimes, they don't come around very often, but you can see sometimes students are like, holy shit, this is real.
Yeah.
Like, and this dude actually cares about it, and I've got to think this through.
Yeah.
Right? Those are at their golden moments. They're awesome. They're also potentially dangerous. Right?
Kind of like hot button issues.
Hot button. How I respond to it. There might be anger and feelings in this classroom right now. Right? There might be sorrow and sadness and fear and all those things in this classroom. And we're not talking about academically any longer. Now the rubber has hit the road. I'm dealing with a real situation. Right. Those are important times. Yeah. And how you as a teacher deal with it. Yeah. Or are you willing to deal with it? Yeah. That's I find that to be really important. So, like, are you going to bend the knee and not say anything, or are you going to be real and say, and not you can give your opinion, but are you going to be real and say, here's my question, and I'm open to critique, but here's my question about what's going on right now. Yeah. Should we be that will make people think, well, this is real. Yeah. And this person cares about it, and it affects us all. Yeah. So those, I think, are actually real learning moments for the student. Yeah. And they might remember that more than any other lesson. Yeah. So when those come across, then it's like, okay, I've got to hit the nail on the head here. Yeah. And sometimes it's just on your feet. How am I going to deal with this? Yeah. So those moments are important. And maybe I come across them more. I think you come across them more in
the humanities. Yeah. Probably.
More so than science, more so than math, phys ed. Yeah, because you deal with ethical issues. Yeah. Whether it be English, whatever. Yeah. Anyways, that was a long.
That's okay. That's good. I'm gonna try and break